Hi everybody, Diana here with another journal in a box. So if you saw my very first journal in a box, you may remember that it was in one of these cigar boxes, Fat Bottom Betty cigars from the Deadwood Tobacco Company and out of Nicaragua. And I was at the Goodwill last week, and what do you know, I found another Fat Bottom Betty cigar box, so I just had to have it. But with it was Fat Bottom Betty's BFF, Sweet Jane. So Sweet Jane is a bit fatter than Fat Bottom Betty, and I decided to make a journal in a box to go in Sweet Jane's box. So this is Jane's journal. Let's have a look. It fits nicely in the box. Here she is. This is the inside of the box. And there is our journal. Let's take her out and let's have a look. I will have a seat. So I covered Sweet Jane's journal in, I'm pretty sure, the same fabric that I used for Fat Bottom Betty's, because I have this fabric and I need to use this fabric. So I'll probably do more journals in this fabric. I'll just try not to have two of them in this fabric at the same time in my booth at the Antiques and Uniques. On the back, I have glued the ribbon on and then put a piece of that faux rice paper on top of that, and then some bit of lace, or I guess that's lace. It's on fabric instead of being really lacy, so I don't know, whatever. This is lace. I put that on the cover. Let's take off the ribbon, and here's our dangle. I got this in a long dangle of them at Joann's at the going out of business sale. Some old cheap rings I got at a thrift shop. I put a bead on the bottom, and then there's just my little note to the user. So here's the inside. Again, this backing, front and back, is a napkin that I just put watered down glue all over in that faux rice papery way. And I just now did this and had the funnest time. I got these little fern pieces from Michael's, and they actually have wire in them. Let me show you this one. I tried to peel it off the wire and it didn't work. So I glued it on, and then I tried my best to glue down the little fronds, and I intended to put this little flower over here. I thought it would balance it out nicely. But I realized that part of the wire was showing on the frond, so I glued the flower there and then took an old piece of fabric that I used to cover another journal and stuck it there for a little bit of balance. I think it turned out okay. And this is my first try at faux homemade paper. Basically what it is a brown paper towel that I got in a roll. So the other side of it is back here. It's a nice long piece. And I watered down some Elmer's glue so that it was nice and runny, so that you don't rip your tissue paper or whatever you're working with. You want it nice and runny. I put glue all over the paper towel. I sprinkled in some black tea and some green tea. There's some threads in there. This looks like a little piece of fabric and some gold flakes. And then I put a piece of white tissue paper on top of that and put more glue. And I did that on both sides of the paper. And when it dries, it's just this really cool, kind of like homemade paper, but you did it with tissue and paper towels. Somebody did that on YouTube, so you can Google it. If I can find the video, I will link to it in the information below. All right, on the first page, you'll notice the ends of a belly band that's on the other side. And I didn't really want to cover up this rose. I really think it's pretty, or I'm sorry, that's not a rose. It looks like it could be a hibiscus or something. So I just decorated this page. I don't know what this is. I found this. It's probably off of an old book or something. And then I put a little bit of tea-dyed gauze over that and a button. And so here's the belly band. And I put this piece down here because the belly band was so loose. And if I put something thicker to take up the whole belly band, it warped this page. And it didn't really fit very well in the journal. So I shortened the belly band. And this is what I put in there. I just took a piece of, a page from my old New York Times front pages and covered the back of it with that piano roll paper, so it makes it a space for journaling. And I tucked that in there. And on this side, I didn't want to do anything to cover up this ship. I think it's really cool. And I had this in my ephemera, probably a Tim Holtz piece or something. So I covered this paper clip to just clip it on. And I added some of that faux rice paper with a paper napkin here. And this little swirly is actually a leftover bit from a die cut that I did. I actually broke down and got a Sizzix machine, and I've been doing some die cutting. And this is the part that you pop out and you're supposed to throw it away, but I'm using it. And on the other side of my covered paper clip, some more of that, I guess, lace and a button. And I love that this button has the thread left in it. I might put thread in my buttons from now on. I really like that look. All right, let's see if we can get her back on there. And that holds our earth. All right, and then that's the other side of my paper clip. And I made a nice ripped pocket. I like the ripped stuff for these cigar box journals. And this is just a picture of a map from a book that I imagine Jane likes, tucked in there. And this is a triple pocket. I think these pictures came from a digital, and I probably glued them onto some cardstock. This too came from a digital package. Hopefully it will be part of one linked below. I'm trying to think if I got it from a digital or from a book. I'm not really sure now. And then go on, I know you go in there. This is Oscar Wilde. I am not sure where I got this, but I figure Jane likes Oscar Wilde. He's a pretty interesting looking dude. And then I shored up this page because you didn't want to bend that paper too much with a corner, a little bit of graph paper, and a little flower. A lot of ripped pages in this journal. I like to think that Jane just sort of put it together. And this is just some scraps and a little piece of butterfly or moth ephemera. I love the crinkly paper, tea-dyed. And this is a double pocket, it looks like, right? Because it's on a little short page. And this is just a folded up printable too. Looks like the three bears. And tuck that in. And this is a picture that I got at the same place I got the Oscar Wilde picture. I just can't remember now where I got it from. So you can write on the back of that. And this is more writing space. And there's some movies that Jane really likes. There's King Kong. I just glued this tea-dyed paper over the words that were on this page and put a little ephemera on it so that she could use the whole page for writing. And here is a picture that I got somewhere. I've been finding old pictures at Etsy and also in thrift shops, and I'm going to be putting them in the journals. I just think that's just hilarious. Look at the guy in the background. That's the best part. And you can journal on the back of it. Another ripped tuck space here. And this is kind of like a waterfall of papers to write on with a little bit of ephemera right there. And this, let me show you what this is. Let me get up for a second. All right, this is Tim Holtz Ideology collage papers. And they're very thin tissue papers with stuff on them like this. And what I did was I cut out this picture off of one and I glued it on the back of some paper so that it would not be like tissue paper, so it would be more sturdy. So it's writing space, and it's a really cool picture to look at. So that is in that pocket. And I ripped out this part and these edges of this pocket to make it look cool. This is just from a weird book, probably the Artful Dodger book that I've used in so many other of my journals. Some more of that faux rice paper. This was a tissue napkin that I put the watered down Elmer's glue all over. It makes it much sturdier than a paper napkin. And I glued some lace on there. And this is a very short ripped page. The other side is longer, I think. So I just put a short pocket on there. I didn't want to cover up the I don't care girl. So I'm willing to bet on the other side of that is the girl wearing the dress. You'll see. And I put this on here. It's a little mushrooms. So you could write on that. And I didn't do it very well, so I'm just leaving these exposed. If I put tape on them, you wouldn't be able to twist that out and write secrets on it. This is just some more tea-dyed graph paper with some ephemera on it. And this was one of the first things I did with my Sizzix. I used an embossing folder, made these cool leaves on some green paper that came with it, and then I inked it all up to make it dirty looking and created sort of a ripped pocket. There's journaling space on the back of that. And there's another movie that Jane likes. And I just put a little ephemera on this tea-dyed paper. This, if you can see it, actually says Nordic wear, made in the USA. I think that might be a picture of a Viking, which is kind of funny, Nordic wear made in the USA. But that is actually what is on the pan that I dry my tea-dyed paper on. And I put it in the oven at about 200 to 250 for a few minutes, like 4 or 5 minutes. And so often, if it's pressed up against that Nordic wear symbol, it gets impressed onto the paper. I think it's kind of cool. All right. This is just some old movie pages. And here I have, it looks like a triple pocket. And I've got, that is messy, just one of those Tim Holtz bookmark ephemeras that you can write on the back. Check that, that's in the very back pocket. And this is from a digital, and I put it on some brown cardstock to give it some heft there, and tied that little bit in the hole. I don't remember if I punched that hole or if the hole came with the, I think it came like that, and it was meant to be a tag, but I had to punch the hole out of the brown stuff. Craft paper or cardstock. Stuff is so much better of a word. And this is just some regular ephemera that you buy, tucked in there. And I made this, you might recognize some of these. I think it's some Tim Holtz cardstock. All right, and then this is the center of this one signature journal. I don't remember what that is. If I remember, I'll let you know. I don't see it written. It's something famous. And there's Irene Dunn, more movie pictures. And so this was a ripped page, and I added this little folded thing to the back of it so that you can still see the rip and you see the other paper coming out. I kind of like that. I got some puzzle pieces and I covered the brown side with some book page. I put a tiny little bit of ephemera there, poked a hole in it, and put a key there. It'll hang off the journal like that. And when you open this up, the key just flops back with it. And there's a lot of writing space. Looks like I reinforced the center of this paper with some washi tape. It's kind of delicate and old. Put a little frog and fern ephemera there. There's a bee, and there probably were words here, so I covered it up with paper to make writing a spot there. And this is another one of those digitals that I put on some cardstock with another ripped pocket. More writing space. And here, I believe, is the I Don't Care Girl, or that's the I Don't Care Girl. Yeah, that's one picture and the other. I do not know why she's the I Don't Care Girl. And here's some more of that faux rice paper. I don't know what that is, but it's cool. It says it's Coughlin, the Coughlin ethos. Don't ask me. It's probably from the Artful Dodger book. And there's a bit of probably Tim Holtz cardstock. And I just put this piece probably from a digital in there. This is the music page of In the Mood. And this is from the movie book. And another one of those digital tags put onto brown cardstock. I didn't put anything in this hole because I put stuff in the other ones. I'm going to give the user a chance to do it. And I just put this on top of that pocket to make a little belly band. This is one of those road movies, The Road to Something. Let's see if I can see what the other side was. I probably covered it up. Looks like The Road to Morocco. All right, and more movie page that I covered up with one of these. I just love this fern paper. It's probably from that Artful Dodger book. And you open it up, and I've got some butterfly washi tape covering up the brads for these things, and a cascading writing pad of paper. I will close that up later. And here's another ripped pocket, and in here is a picture. It looks like a castle and a horse and carriage, very fairy tale like. That back in there. And there's from the movie Top Hat with Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Some writing space, a little bit of ephemera. And here I just put 2 pockets with some ephemera on the other side of this page. More of that cool vellum, tea-dyed. And this is, again, some, what do you call it? Packaging for something I bought. This is it. The Soul Gothic Waltz, 20 pieces. I don't remember what it is. It looks like papers. I think I have them in my little tray over here next to me, but so far I've been using their packaging more than the actual papers. This is more writing space. This would cover up the words on the back for more writing space. And this is where it says Gothic Waltz. And I put a little bit of mushroom ephemera to cover up where it said 20 pieces. And tucked in here is another picture. Ah, this is a witch talking to a tree. Pretty cool. I don't know where I got those. Little butterfly, whatever you call those, from the Trims on Wheels, or, yeah, I think this one was from Trims on Wheels. Some of them I got from Amazon. And then again, I just put paper on this piece of decorated paper for writing space. This is another side. Oh. And more pictures. Here's a pocket. Washi tape on the back of that. This folds out. You can write on it this way and that way. Another covered paper clip that holds this little hidden pocket with another picture from a book that Jane likes. And these paper clips also have little pockets in them. And here we are at the end, and in the back, a triple pocket. And that's it. That is Sweet Jane's journal in the box. And I will be putting that in my booth at the Antiques and Uniques. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a like if you did, and I'll see you next time.